So you're the new recruit. Aren't you a bit scrawny for this job? Don't get smart with me. I served my entire life in the Brotherhood before Lions came along. I could kick your ass all the way to goddamn Kansas. Look, I'm gonna tell you straight up the no bullshit version of what to expect. You're probably gonna get the living hell shot out of you. We received a long-distance distress signal from the West Coast a few days ago, meaning the Brotherhood is in trouble. We both know that Lion's gonna stay holed up and rot. We're the only ones that have both the courage and the technology to help. Precisely. I'll pilot the plane, and your job is just to sit there and watch until we touch down. If you do manage to make it back alive, there will be quite a reward to be had. But if you want to make it back, you'll have to do what I say. Well, you better hurry your ass up. I'm not waiting forever. Fine, we'll take whoever we can get. Look. Are you one of those tech guys that try to sound smart all the time? I don't have time for that. And frankly, I like you less than I did before. Alright, let's get this show on the road. Boys, move out.
Alton, Illinois. Before the war, the city flourished as a leading steel manufacturer, making everything from automobiles to assault rifles. Once a quiet riverside town, people flocked to the area in search of jobs. But in the 2 hours that were the Great War, the city was silenced. However, life, as it does, moved forward. Vault 59 sheltered hundreds from the fires above, as did natural caves along the riverside bluffs. Small settlements quickly grew into bustling towns. Trade routes were established. But 2 years ago, the crazed inhabitants of Vault 59 emerged, bringing nothing but fire and death. 1 month ago, Supermutants moved in from the west, seizing southern Alton and the town of Godfrey. And this is where you come in, newcomer. You'll make choices that will forever change the fate of Alton.
Holy shit, you're awake. Well, judging by your parachute over there, probably ripped on the way down. Man, you should have seen the explosions that plane of yours made. Can't believe you survived that fall. Well, welcome to Alton, newcomer. This isn't your average wasteland. While we have your typical raiders, supermutants, and other creatures, there's also the Plague. The Plague is a group of cast-out bastards that have been going around burning everything in the sake of revenge. Their first reported attack started 2 years ago. That's when things went to hell. They invaded our homes, stole our food, and burned our houses to the ground. That's what happened. They're probably the most dangerous thing out here, and they're also the ones that stole your gear. Why they left you alive is beyond me. I like the way you think. They're likely held up in Bellevue. Here's some armor and a gun to help get you through. Now let's go. Welcome to Alton, currently ranking number 1 in worst place to live. You've got your typical... Not quite. The Plague is a group of cast-out bastards that have been going around burning everything in the sake of revenge. Of course, I'd love a chance to get rid of more of them. They're likely held up in Bellevue. Let's go.
You're new to this place. Who are you? And why are you here? All in good time, but the question still stands. Who are you, newcomer? You survived a plane crash. Impressive. You say you come from the capital. Tell me, what treasures can be found in such a place? The Brotherhood of Steel, but they haven't been seen for ages. Oh, what must lie beyond this insignificant town? Excuse me, I'm getting ahead of myself. My name is Stephen Clark. I am the leader of what these people call the Plague. You are in Alton, Illinois. The ruins you stand in were once called Bellevue. This is what happens to those who ignore our cries for help. Me, along with a few hundred others, were trapped in Vault 59 for many years. The things that place did to your mind, it was maddening. Our water chip had long since broken, and our food supply was dwindling. Our last hope was a distress beacon that we had prayed would reach the wastes. No one came to our aid. Months later, a scout from the town of Godfrey picked up the signal and managed to open the doors from the outside. They had been the only ones to help us. He told us that traders passed through the area quite often and would have easily been able to pick up the signal. You have no idea what we have been through. We have had to do things to survive that you couldn't even fathom. We have more need for your equipment than you do. We aren't exactly swimming around in weapons and stim packs. Oh well, you could have gone on to do great things with me. Goodbye, newcomer. You're new to... Now please, you don't honestly expect this to end well for you, do you? Oh well, you could have gone on to do great things with me. Goodbye, newcomer. Ah, good. I had hoped you were more civilized than that. Now, who are you? You survived a plane crash.
Well, that plan didn't work out so well now, did it? Yeah, you're welcome. Anyways, your gear's likely upstairs, seeing as how this is the only building that isn't on fire. I don't think anybody other than that poor fellow I shot on the way in heard me, so you should be able to catch anyone upstairs off guard. I'll stay down here in case you manage to land yourself into another jail cell. Good luck! Yeah, don't mention it. Anyways, your gear's likely upstairs, seeing as how this is the only building that's not on fire. I don't think anybody other than that poor fellow I shot on the way in heard me, so you should be able to catch anyone upstairs off guard. I'll stay down here in case you manage to land yourself into another jail cell. Good luck! What did you find? Are you sure? Nothing about future plans? Well, we should prepare the underground anyway. We're the only ones left. Well, let's head there then. I'm not so sure Hartrick will trust you, but we'll see when we get there. What did you find? It was only a matter of time. Well, that's my home. I've lived there all my life. We have to warn them. Well, let's head there then. I'm not so sure Hartrick will trust you, but we'll see when we get there.
That's far enough. Who are you?
And you expect me to believe that? Well then, you're not the brightest bulb in the bunch. When you're ready to explain yourself, come back and see me. Fine. Your choice. And how am I supposed to believe that? For all I know, you could be a member of the plague trying to get inside. Tell you what, we had a problem with a few of the conductors we rigged up a few years back to keep the Underground Railroad powered and heated. Over the past few weeks, they started to fail. As you can see from the lack of light, we're in an outage right now, and we need someone to fix them. That person is you. Tom Howard, the local repairman, just rigged us up a new batch of conductors. You'll need to replace the faulty ones with these. The entrance to the utility tunnel is just south of here, by St. Clair's Hospital. Get in, replace the conductors, and report back to me. The entrance to the utility tunnel is just south of here, by St. Clair's Hospital. Get in, replace the conductors, and report back to me.
Yes, sir? Here's a menu. A pleasure doing business with you. Later.
What do you need? Later.
You know what? I was wrong about you. You really did us a favor, newcomer. Our lives are about to get a whole lot easier thanks to you. What can we do to repay you? Well, I'll be damned. You're one hell of a hero, you know that? Well, let me introduce myself. The name's Hartrick, and this is the Underground Railroad, one of the few towns left in Alton. Sure is. Smack dab in the middle of the United States. Alton used to be a nice place to live, at least comparing to the surrounding areas. But then the plague showed up, and things went to hell. They claim they're out for revenge, and have gone around burning every town they come upon. The only town that's managed to stay out of it is New Godfrey. No idea why that is, but New Godfrey has problems of its own. Anyway, where are you from, newcomer? Wow, that's a long ways away. Are you looking for a way home? Well, helping you is the least I can do to repay you, but I don't have any ideas. Except for walking. Who may know is the self-proclaimed mayor of Godfrey. A ways north from here. I'll mark it on your map. Don't bother telling him I sent you. He doesn't give a shit about our town. No, thank you. Good luck, newcomer. Sure, here you go. Well, we don't have much to go around, but here you go. You can say that again. Well, helping you is the least I can. I'm afraid so. It's a ways north from here. I'll mark it on your map. Don't bother telling him that I sent you. He doesn't give a shit about our town.
See anything you like? I have a fine collection of items. See anything you like? I can't afford it. They want 1,000 caps, and I just don't have that kind of money. I wouldn't even care if I had a room to myself. If I could just get in, I would make so much more than sitting out here. You're the first person I've had pass by in a few days. I've tried talking to Hartrick about it, but he's convinced. Well, he thinks that I simply don't belong in his city. Well, I really appreciate that. Trust me, it'll be worth your while. Talk to Hartrick, he's the one I dealt with before.
Hey there. There's plenty to do. What do you want to know about? Well, if you want a beer or two, head down to the bar at the station entrance. But watch out for Jared, though. I wouldn't trust him as far as I can throw him. But if you want some real food, head down to Martha's Kitchen. You can find it in the lower commons. For guns, ammo, and armor, check out the Big Bang in the commons. For chems and everything else, check out Frank's Goods near the entrance. I'll tell you what, I'll sell you a permanent room for 700 caps. Sound fair? You know what? After all you've done for us, sure. Great. Here's the key. It's right off the main entrance across from Jared Benson's room. I'll tell you what. All right, another time then. See ya.
serious? I don't even know what to say. You have to be the kindest person I have ever met. Thanks again. You won't regret this. See anything you like?
I've never seen you around. Who let you in? Not that I trust Hartrick's decisions, but you don't look too threatening. Good decision. Now, do you want a drink or not? See anything you like? See you later.
What do you need?
Hold up, traveler. What's your business here? Damn it! I'm sick of Hartrick sending his problems to me. The name is Robert Johnson. Well, what do you need? Well, I might have a ride for you, but it's not something I'd easily let go. You'll need to do something for me first. This town is called New Godfrey for a reason. We used to live in what is now Old Godfrey, but supermutants took over the place. We want Old Godfrey back. Exactly. Get rid of the supermutants and report back to me. We've also heard reports of the mutants moving further north, up in some hills east of the Dust Bowl. Clear out Godfrey first, then search the camp. Oh, one more thing. I had a dog, but I couldn't find her before we fled the town. If you can at least find out what happened to her, I'd be really grateful. She'd still be in my room, towards the back of our living quarters. Hey there! Yeah? Where do you want to go? The common house, in the back of Old Godfrey, on the left. The general store is right up front, to the right and under the deck. You can grab a drink at the bar behind it. You'll see some tables out front. The clinic is towards the front and to the left. He should be able to patch you up if you need it. Keep out of trouble. You want a ride? Then you'd better listen real close. If you manage to survive, come find me. We've also heard...
What do you need? Yeah? Hey there.
Yeah? What do you need?
Game's over! All you to die! flying high from this! Now I'm flying high! Found you! There you are! Game's
What? Who? You mean... I need to get out of here. You're right. I'll try to make...
Ah, hello, newcomer. Let's try this again, shall we? So here we are. We finally have a chance to talk. Please, hold your questions until I'm done. I have good reasons for everything I've done so far. Good. Finally, somebody's civil. So let's start at the beginning. The story starts 20 years ago when I was just a kid. At that age, I heard a lot, seeing as how my father was the overseer of this vault. It started with problems with a water chip and low food stores. However, over the years it quickly grew into a much larger problem. The water chip finally broke, and we were on our last rations of food. For years, my father had been working on getting us out of here. He'd broadcast a distress signal every day, hoping it would reach the surface. When that didn't work, we started tunneling past our vault's walls. Luckily enough for us, there was quite a bit of equipment suited for digging. Eventually, we realized we were weeks away from being out of food. The people of this vault grew restless and started rioting. They blamed my father, even though he had tried for 2 decades to fix our problems. They brutally murdered both him and my mother. It was at that point that I knew I had to do something. Me and my group of supporters managed to restore order, and I took over as overseer. A month after my father's death, a trader from the town of Godfrey came upon our vault and released the door from the outside. He said that this was his first time in the area, but the distress signal could easily be heard by anyone that passed through the area regularly. The trader said that this was a path that was regularly traveled by people heading north from a city by the name of the Underground Railroad. So it was at this point that I realized that we had been blatantly ignored, left to die, cast out, and my parents were slaughtered because of it. There was no console on the inside of the vault. To open the door, it had to be opened from the outside. The door is essentially a 2-foot thick piece of steel, so drilling through it wasn't an option, so we tried to dig our way to the surface. We simply ate less. Quite a few of us died from starvation, but nobody resorted to cannibalism or anything like that. Innocence. Apparently I didn't make myself clear. This isn't as black and white as you think, newcomer. Godfrey was the one who opened the door. We have nothing against them. In fact, we would like to consider them our allies. But the Underground Railroad can rot in hell. My parents, along with countless others, died because they didn't want to deal with us. So you see, we do not kill without reason. Those who did not aid us in our time of need will burn. Because we simply act as a plague would, and honestly, that's a compliment. We strike fast, strike hard, and spread quickly. Then, we follow the tunnel north until we reach the Underground Railroad. Then we strike from the inside. Hardtrick will never see us coming. We'll finally be able to rid this town of the scum and villainy that have been bringing it down for years. But enough talk. We need someone like you, with enough experience and the grit to get things done. You have a choice to make. A choice that could potentially change the fate of Alton forever. I don't think you understand. You aren't exactly in much of a position to argue. Now please, listen to my story. Well, that's good to hear. You could be essential to us in the near future. Believe me, you won't be letting Hartrick know anything. We'll strike from below, giving us a chance to strike him off guard. Hartrick will never see us coming. We'll finally be able to rid this town of the scum and villainy that have been bringing it down for years. But enough talk. We need someone like you, with enough experience and the grit to get things done. You have a choice to make, a choice that could potentially So,